Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Harakal Kadash, double honor to the apostles and elders, bring most on Shalom to the brothers through the voice of Syrian truth. Basically, I once again to prophesy the downfall, the end of this current rulership, this current kingdom, which right now we're in the midst of the prophecies being fulfilled. We're seeing various aspects of prophecies that have been spoken of in the society. One is the micro seated. That's one. That's one we've heard nothing but news about. As soon as Elon Musk confirmed that like the first human patient got it, World War III, the financial crisis as well. That's something where over the process, like the last 3-4 years, there's been stacking different economic issues the average Joe's been dealing with. But now it's just become a normalization. The price is going up. That's become normal. Inflation being as mad as it is, that's become normal. The price of energy, these different aspects, these things have become normal. But it's still impacting people. They're still feeling the squeeze. And the thing is, these things are going to culminate all together to where our prices point people can't deal with it. And that's the same for like with World War III. People now are looking at overseas. They're seeing it as something happening to someone else, but it's going to hit a point where it's going to be impacting people over here as well. Second Ezra 9:1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the sign pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that at the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which you made. And yeah, this is something that's key. Because being able to pass the signs, that's what you need the prophets for. As far as for the time of the end, you can go and talk to someone, you tell them like, oh, the XYZ prophecies on the cusp, they might just fan the hand. Because why? They're thinking like, oh, well, yeah, this guy saying this back 10 years ago. Yeah, another guy saying this 5 years ago. Another guy was saying something else 3 years ago. They're thinking like, oh, well, these guys just, again, just talking smack, whatever. But then what's the reality? The reality is there's prophets that have been set up. They've been put in a particular role, they've been given a particular purpose. And those are the men where it's like you got to go to get the real, not the 411, to get that real info, man, to get that good food, to get the actual understanding on what's going down. Because by and large, if you talk to guys who claim to be prophets within the realm of Christianity, if they're even within the realm of Christianity, they got no business talking about anything. They don't know what the hell's going on. As far as for when you're in the midst of Christianity, then you need to understand, like, you need to know, well, you don't even know what name you even calling them. And that again applies for, guys that might even know they're Israelites, calling on the name of Christ, Most High Christ bless, calling on that's pure confusion. That's a guy that don't know what the hell's going on. So what's to say? Then shalt thou understand there is a very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of these things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. So yeah, earthquakes and uproars of the people. Basically signs, and people can say, oh, there's been earthquakes since forever. But hey, there's a time when there's going to be earthquakes, there's going to be uproars of the people, there's going to be World War III on the cusp, there's going to be the MOTB on the cusp, there's going to be the prophets having returned, the word going out to the four corners. That's something that needs to happen before the end. The elect being sealed. These things line up as well. But then how can you pass and understand what these things are? Well, you need to know the men who understand these prophecies, able to break it down. And that's the thing, when you're dealing with the carnal, you're dealing with the worldly. If you're going to Esau, Esau ain't gonna be able to to tell you what it is. If you go into the Bible commentaries and whatnot, they ain't gonna be able to tell you the name, let alone who the Israelites are, let alone when Babylon the Great is. Yeah, how are you gonna be able to piece together anything? How do you even know where it's gonna be destroyed? How do you know where you don't even want to what do you call it? How do you even know what part you take within the judgment? Because you're not able to tell like, oh, my chosen nation, my one the heathen, my Esau, what's going on? You can't put it together. It's a myth. It's a wrap. But like all that's made in the world has a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. Yeah, all that's made has a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. Now when the time, it's the same thing with any of the prior systems, prior kingdoms that were set up. They had a time where they would rise, and then they'll hit their apex, the golden age. Then afterwards a decline, and then there'll be a fall, and someone else will come up and take them over. That's something that can be observed in various aspects. There's the term dynasties and whatnot. Even within different kingdoms, they'll be split between, okay, this is when this king was up, or this family ruled over it. Then the next family came in and took over. And they'll be like, okay, this is when these men got joined into a different empire. And then the people that go into history, historians, these guys will go through and piece together all these different aspects. But then just as you can look back and be like, okay, you look at the Rome and you're seeing, oh, X, Y, Z happened. You look at Greece, X, Y, Z. It's the same thing with this current rulership. Just because they have the democratic system, so like dealing with the Republic of Rome, because this is basically a rebirth of the Roman Empire. They might look and see, okay, well, Teddy Roosevelt, George Washington, they might go DJ Trump or BC, George W. Bush, Reagan. They'll have them as different eras. Now we're seeing we're basically at the tail end of this current era.
Give him a message. Like,
Jeremiah 20. Jeremiah 28 and 8. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms, of war and of evil and of pestilence. So yeah, these prophets you see coming back now, speaking against his current kingdom, it's the same men that were in prior kingdoms prophesying against them as well. Whether it was Israel, Greece, Rome, these prior kingdoms also had the same setup. Where when they're getting ready to get taken out, what the prophets got sent. And then what? They'll prophesying at the end, man. They'll prophesying that, yo, you guys are going to get washed out and someone else is coming in. And now we're at the time where it's going to be the ultimate cleansing, the ultimate washing out, where it's being done with nuclear fire. And you're going to have it where there's prior kingdoms where you can go, just like you can go Greece, and you can see certain buildings. You can go to Rome. You can go to Italy and see certain constructions. You can go to Egypt and see the pyramids. But then when you're dealing with America, the destruction it's going to get is going to be on a scale where there's not even going to, the land is going to be burning. You ain't going to be able to go and see Lady Liberty. You're going to be able to go and see the Empire State. You're going to be able to go and see any of these icons of America, the Washington Monument, none of them, the Golden Gate Bridge, all these different icons that now people are looking at, glorying at. those things are going to cease to be. They're not even going to be held in any kind of regard. That's why.
Just like the wonders of the former wonders of the world.
Well, yeah. Oh, the hanging gardens of Babylon. They don't even. They can't even tell you how they would look. They ain't even. They're saying like, well, yeah, the hanging gardens of Babylon were famed for their beauty, but then there ain't nothing left. But with America, it's gonna be a smoldering ruin because it's gonna burn, then it's gonna smoke, and then it's gonna be a desert, and no one's even gonna dwell there. Verse 9, it says, "The prophet which prophesieth of peace, when the word of the prophet shall come to pass, then shall the prophet be known that the Lord Yahweh truly sent him." And yeah, that's the difference. That's how you can tell, okay, who's the spirit leader. Because they'll speak about something before, which is what it is to be a prophet, to say before. And then what? It will come to pass. And that's really how you tell. Because there's various times in the past where you have false prophets raised up, but then what? They'll say like, yeah, everything bless up, everything's gonna be good. So you're gonna get that whip, you're gonna get that car, you're gonna, saying like, yeah, your stock's gonna triple. But then what's the reality? The place is getting ready to go and go completely tipped up. Then it's a wrap. Now there was something I wanted to get, but I've forgotten. Something in particular. Isaiah 14:4 says that thou shalt take up a proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how hath the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased? The Lord Yahweh hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted and none hindereth. And that's the other aspect, is the legacy of Esau's rule is what? Through spite, through wickedness, through violence. That's how everything gained and retained it was through violence. And as such, it's the same reward. Those are basically use violence, use blood, use death and destruction to gain. That's going to be the same way they're taken out. Because now you basically had the Esau try and put on the mirage, put on a whole new, his hands are drowned in blood, but then he's now just tried to wipe his hands and then proclaim himself innocent. It's just like, it's all about love, let's all just be equal and just get along. All those bad things, it wasn't me. It was my foreparents, But then what? The reality of it is, those same crimes haven't even been accounted for. There's not been a correction. There's not been a recompense for it. And that recompense can't be done in US dollars. Because they don't even have no value. That's going to be a recompense that, as it says in the scriptures, needs to be done in blood. And it's not just for what's been done unto Israel. It says, well, he who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted and none hindered. Yeah, he smote the nations. He dealt with all the nations. All these nations basically have a my throat's still fucked in it. Because like there's nothing else there. He that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hinder him. So yeah, all these nations have a bone to pick. They're all basically invested in the situation as well. Because why? It's a good example. You had Oppenheimer come out last year, and then what's the key? What's the word? The key legacy that he left behind. What? Dropping the bombs on Japan, man, on America. Them guys getting smashed, and that's something that still there's been no recompense for. And then that's what we're looking at. We're looking at a ledger where there's a bunch of blood in it, and it's not been corrected. That's a thing that, hey, it's now in a time where these things are going to be done, man. All these nations are going to get that revenge on America. Then as well, the key one is for Israel, man. But then on top of that, even for Israel's got a bone to pick with all these heathen as well. You know what I'm saying? Revelation 11 and 8, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. Yeah, the land of America, which is what spiritual Sodom and Egypt. In the land of America, that was where what? Jacob was put into that destroyed state. And what's it say? And they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth. So that was something that was celebrated and made merry of. The fact that Jacob was put into that destroyed state. That was something that all the nations partook in their enjoyment. That's why all the nations have a bone to pick with Israel. But then what? Them linking up with Esau. Well, they learned why it says in Ecclesiasticus 12 and 10, never trust thine enemy. Because as far as Esau, he proved it himself. What did he do? He went around the world, so-called colonized it, called himself civilizing the world, basically getting everyone underneath his vibration, which still continues to this day. Because you still have, various nations where they're completely disconnected from their identity. Why? Esau came through himself, Esau's system. Then even with the system of law, everyone has basically built to that democratic system. You got establishments like what, the UN, where all these nations have to come together. They're essentially underneath that vibration.
Well, name names will clarify because Esau's a so-called white man. Alright, because you spoke about no one knows our identity. But we actually say Esau, we need to explain so-called white man.
Yeah, Esau, the so-called white man, he's the one who currently has the rule, and then all the nations are basically underneath that vibration. But now, as we're going into, this is the time of his end. And the main way, main way that's basically being seen and observed is through what? Through prophecy. Revelations 19 and 10, it says, and I fell at his feet to worship him, and he said unto me, see thou do it not, I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahushua. Worship the Most High, for the testimony of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy. Yeah, that spirit of prophecy is what? The testimony of Yahushua. And that's a key way of knowing the time that we're in the midst of, man, and what's going down. Being able to tell, again, like I said, those prophecies. And now is exactly why we can line up the time, man. People might say, oh, there's always been wars. Sure, but then just like people still make the difference between World War I, or the Great War as it was called, World War II, and then currently what we're seeing, which is the rumbling of World War III. Whatever people talk, those are separated in how they're spoken about. And those are mentioned in the scriptures as well. Revelation 11 and 14, and it says, what? The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. Yeah, the second woe is past, which is the second destruction, the second world war. Behold, the third one cometh quickly. That's why, with this third world war, we've essentially had prolonged enmity between America and Russia. That's been something that's been drawn out for a long period of time. You had the period of time known as the Cold War, where essentially it was these guys were aiming nukes at each other, and then it was held off for an extended period of time, where it didn't go to that full-scale conflict. But then what? You had the fall of the Soviet Union, so it kind of faded into the background for a bit. But then what? Through Putin, as you said, the hook's been put in their jaw, they've been turned back, and they've been back in that spirit of that adversarial relationship with the Western world, mainly with America. And that's that third woe, man. On top of that, what? Like I said, the MOTB, the micro-sealer, that's one of the main key prophecies. That's been spoken of for the longest. And now we're seeing it physically manifest. We're seeing people with it. It was what, 2018, I believe, where they did the demonstration with a monkey. And now it's been 6 years, and now we've got some people getting put inside them. I didn't even know I was doing it. My throat's fucked. Even if it's being done, it's not even like I'm doing it intentionally. It's dry as fuck. So I don't even know what it sounds like. They ain't shut up as far as with that. If it's not coming out consistently.
You said about a month, 6 years. 6 years ago.
Yeah, now we got in people. So now you're seeing it what physically manifests. That's something that's already essentially here. And now imagine 10 whatever years ago, people are saying like, oh, it's a fairy tale. It's there's no way that can come to pass. And now we see it in the midst. Just like with World War III. There was a period of time where it's like, if you mention World War III, people are like, nah, there's no way, Russia couldn't do X, whatever, the US wouldn't do this, Germany's buying Russian gas, etc. Like, what reason do they have? But now we're basically seeing it come to pass. You agree, sir?
Book of Isaiah, Isaiah 42 and 9. Behold, the former things are come to pass, and new things do I declare. Before they spring forth, I tell you of them. Right, and that's the job of the prophet, basically, to come and say when you break down a compound of the word prophet, it means pro meaning before, and fet basically means to speak. So it's a speaking that comes prior to an event unfolding. So many events that we spoke about, or even when you go into the Bible, you can deal with Noah, you deal with Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Moses, all right, Elijah, the Lord, the world called Jesus, right, which isn't his true name. You go down a litany of prophets within the Holy Bible, right? They all prophesied of things happening prior to the events that are unfolding before them. And many people scoff, right, and didn't believe it. Why? Because being alive with their world views of the time, all right? But then what will wind up happening? Those words actually came to pass, and the people came to realize most of the time when it was too late. The wise would have basically, took heed and basically positioned themselves in a favorable manner before the eyes of the Heavenly Father. But those that were foolish, they'll basically be swept away with the judgment, the destruction, or whatever was prophesied to happen. Right? So this is the same thing that's going on. But only this time around, this is basically the prophecies and prophecies. Basically, this is the event of all events unfolding presently in this day and age that we're in. So when we see these various things happening, like the brother mentioned with World War III, there's a lot of things that's happening through the course of this week. Right? You had like over in America, you had I'm not sure to what area specifically it happened, but you had a blackout in terms of a shutdown of the internet for a moment. Right? And then there was something else that happened, and it's escaping me right now, but you had things happening day by day, moment to moment. Right?
Looking to pass draconian laws in DC. Well, actually, I'm not sure if DC or maybe Washington State. Yeah. But the mayor basically trying to pass where they'll cut a bunch of benefits, like benefits we put over here, and then essentially like just cutting people off raw from it and not really replacing them with anything else. Yeah. And then passing like restrictions on people being allowed to be outside in groups bigger than two, or even two or more.
Where was this in America?
In America, yeah.
But it's even the other thing now, the brother of Power By, I don't know if you see the art or the video, it's basically talking about what's going on right now with the video actually. What's going on right now, you have two caravans moving up from Mexico. So you got but what you got Chinese, you got military basically coming up. And because I've only watched it once, even I'm watching it, when you watch something get excited, you don't really sit down and take it in, you're just like, wow. So the plan, the agenda that they have is basically what they want to do is they want to make it where anyone can get citizenship within America, all right? But one of the ideas or one of the think tanks, one of the thoughts that's being presented is that of they're going to present the conscription process, a draft, right? So basically, if you don't consign with getting down with the agenda of going to war or whatever it may be with the MOTB, right, that micro C here, then what's going to happen is you're going to lose your citizenship. And you're basically going to be frowned upon within society. And they're going to ostracize you to the point where what happens? You basically have no rights, right? So even if you were born and bred English, born and bred American, like the blood of the blood, like your lineage is just, they could pull it out and say, but if you don't adhere to their agenda, guess what? They're going to ostracize you and strip you of your citizenship, right? And that's what they're presenting as a plan in America. So what's that going to bring about? That's going to bring about where you have military, basically immigrants coming up from the south, from Mexico and whatnot. They're basically going to obviously subscribe to the consensus of getting a micro C here, all right, and basically fighting in the warfare against their own citizens, all right? So that seems like the next step of the agenda. And it really makes sense why when you put it together with what happened during the time of the pandemic, it works hand in hand because anyone that didn't get vaccinated, what happened to them? They were ostracized in the eyes of the public. They were basically looked down upon and said, like, you lot are bringing the disease to this world, basically. All right? But now they're going to perpetuate that, right, alongside with the citizenship and the things are not fighting for the war. They're just going to, that's why now, what did Biden decree as of yesterday? He put 500, what's the word, escaping right now, 500 sanctions against Russia. Why was that? Because of Tucker Carlson's interview with Putin made him have dehumanized him, made him have some favor in the eyes of the Western world, all right? And I don't mean favor like people want to go and fight in Russia or whatever. I mean it in the sense of like, why are we? Why is this guy a criminal? I don't get it. Why are we involving ourselves in another war? So it's basically deterring the masses of the people from the propaganda that's being perpetuated. And it's basically what a spanner in the works. Alright? So all these things that's happening right now, they have a goal in mind. Alright? An end goal in mind. They want to conclude it in a certain fashion. Alright? And they're going to do by any means necessary, they're going to do it. And we know this because of the prophecy in the Bible. Alright? But that's why we're here to declare these like these formal things that come to us. Surefire, you go into the Bible, you're going to read stuff, alright, and show you these things happened before. But it requires you one key ingredient, that of faith. Right? If you don't have that ingredient of faith, then we could be doing this to a blue, we don't get it blue in the face, right? But we can say to our eyes and reds, we're sweating and we're until you can physically visibly see our frustration. But the reality of the situation is, if it's not allowed for you to understand this thing, you ain't gonna get it, right? And you're basically gonna be appointed to a form of death or judgment, which the Heavenly Father is appointing unto you, right?
Isaiah 29:15. Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord Yahweh, and their works are in the dark. And they say, who seeth us and who knoweth us? Yeah, that's who we're contending against. And that's how a lot of these events
explain that
what's at the core of these events.
What you say we're contending against these sort of so-called white man in the most
setting up
our case
before to go to I was just saying. Hey, it's as it says, a spiritual warfare. We're basically on the right hand side. Israel is contending against the chief prince on the left hand side, which is Esau, Edom, and Sodom, and those amongst us, at least those in the highest form of power, they're basically able to set up and confront various aspects of spirit, especially when it comes to the media, greatly within the media, because that's what the brother's going into. That interview with Tucker Carlson goes against a huge part of like media narrative that's been pushed against Russia. The media narrative has been against Russia since going back to what you call it, the Cold War, man, the 50s and 60s. Then it was things like the space race, how many ICBMs they have, how many missiles they have. Films like The Man from U.N.C.L.E., where you had the Russian agent and the American agent working together. They had it competing for technology. But the guy was like, oh, I got what's his name? What's his name? Henry Cavill had like the things he snipped from the wire. And he was like, oh, you're super advanced, blah, 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 harder by this. And the Russian guy was just like, oh, doing the laser. And they just like put through easy. So that's been the technology competition. These things have been basically been I think from going way back. Then even now, it's like with military technology, with missile technology, different forms of airplanes as well, with hypersonic missile technology. There's all that competition still in there. And then what? They basically have had the minds of the people thinking about the Russians as an enemy from way back. Personally and vested in hating food. And then even with what happened with Zelensky became
Keep your voice.
Zelensky became a celebrity to the Western world. They had that guy. This guy was up in every House of Parliament or Senate House or whatever, doing talks, asking people for money. But it's only really now that you've had what do you call it? The Middle East situation, the Israel-Palestine situation pick up again. That people have the money to Ukraine slowing down. But then what? Even then, it's like even with Ukraine, the country sending like billions, multi-billions to help these guys fight. That's why they need to have people in the mind something like, fuck Russia, fuck Putin. But that's the way that they can get away with certain things. Because again, the key thing the brother mentioned with the jump shot, man, getting people to take it and ostracize it. That mindset, that was how epic it was. Even there was people getting fired from their jobs for not having it. There was people, especially in government jobs, in civil service, in it was like 8 like hospitals, airports, basically any of those service, a lot of those service industries. If you didn't get there was a deadline given, then you'll just get sacked. So they were really pushing for that compliance. Then for anyone resistant, those guys essentially had a mark put on them. They looked at like, okay, these are the troublemakers. Those that folded and got it, they're put in a category. Okay, they're going to take it. It says what, verse 16? Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as a potter's play. For shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not, or shall the thing framed of him that framed it, I'm not been talking this much, so my phone is it wasn't like, so like I said, actually talking this. Seems like you ain't been talking this, what did it say? For shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not, or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he had no understanding. And that's really what Esau, the so-called white man's trying to accomplish. When he's come through and he's established his order, he's basically thrown out the scriptures, thrown out the truth. He ain't trying to deal with that in the slightest. Because why? As far as he's concerned, it's of no value. He thinks that what he's establishing is superior, and really he thinks he can win, man. He thinks there's a W for him within this situation. But again, you go into Proverbs 16:4, said what the wicked was made for the day of evil. As far as for his role, he saw that wicked, so white man is wicked. Yeah. His role is to play that role. His role is to be filled with pride. It's to have that hubris where he thinks that these crimes are going to come to pass. Because in reality, what's happening is it's all within a bound of prophecy. So when you look at it, you're like, damn. It's like if Yahushua comes back, I'm really done. And everything else says that. But why? He's been appointed that role. He's going to fulfill it.
I don't know. My like, oh, I just think it's like...
Psalms 50 and 50 and 16. But unto the wicked the Most High saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth, seeing thou hatest instruction, and castest my words behind thee? And that's how Esau's been from the beginning. When you deal with the progenitor of the so-called white man Esau, he had that same rebellious spirit, just as you have it now. Now he's rebelling, but this guy's going out of his way to establish everything against what's righteous in scriptures. This guy's establishing confusion, thinking there's going to be some remedy or something to his favor at the end. But as I said, what thou hatest instruction. That's that same spirit. There's everyone else in the world as well is underneath that same vibration. People have that rebellious mindset. They essentially look to like, oh well. If you try and talk about the age of the world, they'll come and say, yeah, but the Earth's like X amount of billions of years old. These guys are completely caught up in the web of whatever it is that Esau established. Yeah. First Thessalonians 5:1. But of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as prevail upon a woman with a child, and they shall not escape. He has the same divide you have. You have the prophets that are prophesying essentially what? Of the end. Prophesying of destruction. Prophesying that the kingdom ain't going to go on forever. Which you read the scriptures, there's no kingdom that goes on other than the kingdom of heaven. All these different kingdoms, they basically had a set balance. And even when you're dealing with Esau, with his worldly carnal wisdom, going through his mindset, his approach, even he's like, okay, yeah, these kingdoms are only ruled for set periods of time. But then people seem to look at the current rulership like this is it's basically going to run up until Star Trek, what's it called, the Federation or whatever gets established, and then people start colonizing Mars and Jupiter and Saturn and all these different planets. That's what people are thinking Esau's going to get to. But then what? That's a falsehood. Because as far as for now, it's peace and safety, people only really have the illusion of it. Because right now, the Western world, it's disconnected from the destruction that goes down. There's people where it's like they might think a good example would be like Mexico, man. There's people that might go to a resort in Mexico. They hear a multitude of stories about people that go off outside of the resort. They might get grabbed up by one of the cartels. They might get kidnapped. They might get ransomed. Like some real shit can happen. But then, as far as when you're dealing with Esau, he always deals within his bubble, where you're essentially disconnected from reality. And that's a lot of what Esau's established, even in his kingdom. This whole place has basically had a wealth of resources pulled here to where you can have things pulled off that you wouldn't be able to do in other places, man. Because why? Even people, all kinds of resources and goods come here. Same with America. You've got whole industries just built off bringing goods from all over the world into the Western world to make merchandise. And that's a big part of how it survives. But then also on the flip side of that, there's also a lot of death and destruction that's been done in the past, and then it still gets done now. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. But ye brethren are not in darkness, that the day should overtake you as a thief. Ye are the children of light, and the children of the day. And yeah, as far as us, we're not in that darkness. We've been clued in. We've basically had our minds opened up to receive the wisdom of the Most High that brought. We're able to piece together, again, these prophecies. That's a key way. And the children of the day, we are not of the night nor of darkness. Therefore, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. And yet, part of watching and being sober is back to, like, current events. Like the brother mentioned. Like, throughout the course of the week, various aspects of things are going down. The way you put it together, you're like, damn, it lines up with the prophecy. You going into aspects of World War III, aspects of the economy, aspects of what is it? The MLTV, and how society's going to shift or is shifting. Because even now, you look at now to like 5 years ago. It's funny because you can look at like videos of certain events that happened like years back, and people had like a different mindset. I remember even during the lockdown, there was someone that sent out like a video of like a street barbecue where it was just like a bunch of people just filling out the street. Like the guy was driving, just kept going on and on. And the people were like, damn, we ain't even gone back to that. But there's various aspects of society that have been changed that people don't even really think about. And now these things are all going to be pushed further. What's up? Yeah.
I want to read this from This is from NBCnews.com. The headline reads, AT&T service restored after customers hit by widespread cellular outages in the US. The carrier said Thursday night that an outage that left thousands without service for hours was a process error and not a cyber attack. Alright? Now, even with that being said, one of the key things they've been saying as a new battlefront in terms of World War III is that of cyber attacks. Right? They're saying now there's cyber warfare going on where one country is aiming at another country to basically any form of infrastructure that's operated by computerized means. They're basically attempting to compromise it, all right? And they're saying they're putting loads of contingents in place whereby if it happens, they're good to go. Everything can go as normal. Now, one thing they don't really ever mention is that there may be an oversight in a process that is already set in place, all right? Which is kind of ideal for them because say if something like that does happen, all right? Now you have certain, like the brother was speaking about, certain liberties that people enjoyed prior to the pandemic. Yeah, even though you are more than welcome to do them, the mentality of the people has been, recalibrated, right? Whereby you're permanent, so they don't do certain things no more. It's not the spirit to do it no more, and that's by design, right? So these things, they're all using these tools to basically design the people to behave in a fashion that works in line with their agenda, right? So something like that happening now would benefit them greatly, right? And all they can blame it on is there was an oversight in the process, all right? Now this is on a small scale because it's one. I don't know how far reaching AT&T is in America, all right? But I mean it's a network that provides for a lot of people.
I think it's one of the big ones. The thing with America, I think there's only like two big things like Verizon, AT&T, And there's like some places you can only have access to, like they've got monopoly in very big parts. It's the same with internet, where some places you can only get one, which is why like people complain about how shit the service is for a lot of places. So there can be people, it's like if there's AT&T goes out, like they're just done.
Yeah. And that's the thing now. So the point being, why am I saying this? Because this is biblical prophecy. Right, the brother was speaking about World War III, right, the process of Cold War and these different things. Like it was said, the prophecy was that, you know, basically they had to fall away from being the power that they once were, and then the hooks had to get put back into their jaw to steer them back in the direction of being head on with America, all right, to bring about what? World War III. So this is the process of thing, right? That's why I told you in the book of Peter that, you know, a lot of people scoff and say, where is it coming up? The same prophecy of his coming. But since the same, you know, since the Father went to sleep, all things continue to flow. You know, there's a process in play. That's why it's very important that you actually understand what the Bible is. It's known as the scriptures, right? Right? What's another way of putting the script, flipping, applying that word? So what's the synonym of scripture? Script. Right? You have a script that everyone has to adhere to him to play out. Right? So the Heavenly Father is a script everyone has to follow. Right? And free will is ultimately an illusion. Right? You have the illusion of choice, whereby you feel like I might do this, I might do that. But ultimately you're following a script that's been outlined from the foundations of the earth. That's why I told you the beginning was the Word, and the Word made everything, because the Word was established by the Heavenly Father, and everything that's happening right now is by design. Right? There's no way you can't wiggle your way out of it and say, no, I'm gonna do this. This ain't no fucking Hollywood movie, man. You ain't gonna say, okay, if I go back 2 days, I can change my mind. If I go back, this ain't fucking to the future, man. Alright? This is established by the Heavenly Father, and this is gonna happen. He told you in the book of Isaiah 55:11, right, that the words of the Heavenly Father won't return unto him void. But the point being now is these words, there's going to come a time where there's going to be a famine of hearing the word of the Heavenly Father. So a lot of people are not going to hear these prophecies. Right? So in order for this to happen, why is it happening? Things like this, the infrastructure has to come from. Right? And really, in the eyes of the elites of society, they feel like the internet is the worst thing possible. That's why they're going out on a limb to really compromise, you know, quite great masses of misinformation, and also quite those guys that basically clean up saying this is the narrative instead of that. But in the current time, we know we kept having it about correcting news information. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so all this is by design. So they're trying to go against what's been established by the Heavenly Father, pumping or perpetuating their narrative. Alright? Let me read it. You got a piece of it? Yeah.
Revelation 12:12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. And yeah, the brother mentioned that, well, you mentioned you quote the scripture, 2 Peter 3, where it said things continue as they were. And the joke is really they're not continuing as they were. Because you know, the illusion of it is that nothing's really changed. But the thing is psychologically people are already defeated. Because let some other, on what have we been talking about, what's it, disease X? That's been getting hyped up as well. Let that pop up. Then what people are already in a mindset where what was done during C19, all those things can come back. So that's the thing. It's really, that's what the what was it? The AT&T. These network outages. So I remember that happened to the other day. It happened to Free. I think T-Mobile might have had one last year as well. But those things have been happening, even with outages. Those outages, like Twitter went down, it wasn't able to be got access happened to YouTube either last year or the year before. But these are things where it's like, if those things drop out, then it has a huge impact. And then you have like a good example, the perfect example is Leave the World Behind. Because that essentially is like, they were out in the sticks, then slowly losing all means of communication, all means of utilizing technology. And then what? That basically became a whole different world. And that's the thing, is once Esau comes through with that it gets key. Because there's a lot of people, the only thing keeping them from doing certain things is knowing that there's consequences. If they're like, oh, there's no cameras, there's no this, there's no that, they're gonna go through Rock's shop with oh, no one's coming. There ain't no police. They might think, okay. Then they indulge everything they've ever wanted to do.
I said AT&T's widespread outage that left thousands without service for hours Thursday was likely caused by a process error, not a cyber attack, the carrier said. The trouble started early Thursday, but by afternoon AT&T reported that service had been restored to all customers. Based on an initial review, the company thinks the outage was caused by the application and execution of an incorrect process used as we were expanding our network, not a cyber attack. It said Thursday evening. Over 32,000 AT&T outages were reported by customers about 4 a.m. Eastern Time Thursday. Reports dipped, then spiked again to more than 50,000 around 7 a.m. The most issues reported in Houston, Chicago, Dallas, Los Angeles, and Atlanta, according to the site. So these are key cities, right? These are like those, key metropolitan areas, right? And those are the key places that they need to, compromise and establish as their flagships for their New World Order, right? So, hey, those really in other places, but America's a great land. And there's some videos of watching the scenery out there, man. I'm like, I wouldn't mind living over there, man. Even the terrain and the layout, it's intriguing. And I understand why you have what's wrong with this guy?
Yeah, I was like, bro.
But yeah, the terrain of the terrain of everything. And you look at the mountains, like,
bro, it's like, it's going
anyway, what happened was, the terrain is beautiful, man. And I can understand why you have certain Americans, they ain't left the country, let alone their city, right? In some cases, I understand because, you might have the abundance of things. Because you look around, like, what video I watched, the place is just fucking beautiful, man.
See, Yosemite Park is like a good there's like huge amounts of national parks where it's net colossal. So I think they go between states. States are huge.
Yeah.
Because we have national like down further south. There's like national forests and whatnot. But then it's the UK is a small island.
Don't get too. UK's got nice parts. Scenic, but just in
scale wise, I'm saying scale wise, yeah. It doesn't really compete.
Comparison to America, it's just in comparison to America, it ain't shit. But the point being is that you have these areas in between these city centers where it's like a no man's land. It's more or less like the ancient one, whereby you had these city centers built, these cities, should I say, were built up and gated, right? And then you had the no man's land, places in between where anything can happen. Right, wolf could eat you, some robbers could come to you, like the Wild West over. And you still have that to a degree within America, all right? But those main city centers, they're the place they want to compromise and establish as flagships for their agenda. And then ultimately, work out, scale outwards from them and get more control over the place. Right?
What's going on?
You read on. So it says, AT&T acknowledged the issue Thursday morning, saying some of our customers are experiencing wireless service interruptions this morning. Other cellular providers, including Verizon, T-Mobile, and Cricket Wireless, also reported outages. Verizon and T-Mobile, see, I said T-Mobile, I'm saying that T-Mobile said those affected have been trying to contact AT&T users. You know, when you read these companies, like, my mind just goes to America. The way it even said. Anyway, reading
Do you know what barcode is?
no idea. Sorry. Barcode.
Bar and Co. It's like it's one of these boats.
Never been on one of them.
All right, lovely,
Sorry.
thank you.
So it says right. Offended, like,
Right, so you get that your work was I meant your hair, like,
how you not at work? Yeah, I'm doing something.
yeah.
It's not work. I don't mean up for that side. You could be like, you should fucking know.
So, when did you start, bro? Like, when did you know, man? Your hair was on.
I'm here. I know where I'm meant to. You know where I'm meant to. Like, bro, there's people to see. You can see exactly what it is. Anyway, our cellular providers, including Verizon, T-Mobile, and Cricket Wireless, also reported outages. Verizon and T-Mobile said those affected have been trying to contact AT&T. Verizon said Thursday morning that the outages are not affecting its network directly, only customers trying to reach another carrier. T-Mobile also said early Thursday that the network didn't suffer an outage. Cricket Wireless, and this is the thing, hey, just like we deal with the plagues in Egypt, you had certain plagues happen, right, that would have affected people, cattle, landmass, wherever have you, right? But there was an appointed mass of people to die, right? Certain people were going to die, certain people got through it. And that's what really ultimately creates that sphere of faith, right? Whereby you can say like, raw, is this really happening right now? Or am I bugging, or am I thinking? Because why were they hard? What was the little leeway that gave Pharaoh enough space for them to basically harden their heart? It was like, they just go, nice, you know, not everyone's right, you know. You really go like, you know, when you read scripture, you go like extrapolate, alright? But it's the same thing now. When these things happen, there's a little thing where it's just a little thing. But no, these things actually hold some weight. They're very telling as far as what's on the agenda, what's on the plan, what's on the ledger. Alright? There's a lot of things they want to execute. But these are telling things. Because it should really, like the brother mentioned, and I was going to speak to, right, leave the world behind. That movie, you see when you release certain things in the custom, where it was released right before Christmas, right? More or less. Like November, a month before Christmas. So you have a lot of things that, it's like that funny period where a lot of things happen afterwards that you kind of, it can get swept away and you kind of forget about it all. But how much hubbub it kind of created and, you know, thought around it and people talking about different things, there was a lot of that generated. But now when you told them, like, oh yeah, I forgot about it. You know, that's all. Because every week there's something new happening, something new being presented to you. Okay, but the point being is that when you see something like this, it should remind you of that movie. It should remind you also of what happened with the Teslas. It should remind you with the other outage, there was a blackout that happened in New York as well. Different things happen. So it should be
Funny as well, because even the what you call it, driverless cars aspect of like Teslas, I mean there's been multiple like studies saying basically it doesn't, like it's not something you're never going to get to the point where you're just going to be able to leave the car driving whilst you're inside it and then take you somewhere. So that whole aspect is still being developed. There might be something else to it, which then leads up to what was it used for? In the movie, it close off
It was basically like it was elite troops. It was a unit. You know, it's the same thing with like
separate people up.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Because just like Joel 2, the Lord, you know, the Heavenly Father, otherwise known as the Lord of Sabaoth, otherwise known as the Lord Yahweh of Tazabah, which basically means Lord of armies, has a myriad of armies. All right, there's angels, which are on the right hand and left hand. All right, you also have his people, Israel. You also have Esau, the so-called white man, being his sword in his left hand. All right, the missiles. You have even the animals can be pulled into effect. All right, because they basically, you know, through via the spirits, the evil spirits being caught on them.
The she bears on the mutes, man. Yeah, they were taking the piss out of the militia.
So you have many means whereby these people basically galvanized and put into an event of warfare, right? So same with a Tesla, right? It showed you in the movie that they basically, you know, Esau quote unquote a spirit on them and said, right, we're going to use you to basically, you know, as we're going to flank you on this designated area. And really be mindful as well, because like, you know, I'm saying this, well, you got to think, okay, what's the main form of energy for a Tesla? That's basically going to determine whether you can buy one or not.
For electricity.
If you ain't got a electrical, you know, like a pump to basically charge it, you can't buy one.
Charging station.
Charging station. Now there's certain areas. You know, I used to live in Hackney, a little while ago, not too long ago, for a very long time. In that area, that's one of those 50. That's like one of those main gentrification I say gentrification, but I really mean like it's really one of those 15-minute project things.
Yeah.
Because everything they're doing over there, they're putting all the what do you call them? Electric scooters, electric bikes. They're putting the charging stations, docking bays for because even they one of the up in Stokey, they cutted out one of the petrol stations and basically right at the far wall, the back wall, they put like a charging dock. So the reason why I'm saying this, it's then allowed these areas as well have the people whereby they have that mindset and they want to basically invest in these kind of things. So
the ULEZ as well.
Oh yeah,
they expanded the ULEZ.
Yeah.
So it's like even to drive and to have a car in London, they're making it where it's not even, like it doesn't even feel like an option. Doesn't even make sense. Because especially with like
sure
Elizabeth
there's an
line.
incentive for people to have electric cars.
Yeah, you pay the road tax.
Yeah.
I don't think you pay any road tax.
Yeah.
It's like all the people, all the Uber drivers use the Corolla, the Toyota.
Yeah.
That one is because they get exemption from road tax. Just electric, it's like hybrid or electric. Then you get those exemptions. And it's the same with solar panels. So you get solar panels, any of the energy generated by it, you get it taken off your electric bill.
Okay. So yeah, now dealing with the electrical cars, this is a means by where, you know, they could basically utilize, they could galvanize them in the event. It showed you in the movie, they could galvanize them in the event of a situation happening. But it could cordon off certain areas, right, which they've already done in these, remember, they've made them one-way systems now. Certain roads during the course of the pandemic, the plant boxes just popped up out of nowhere. Looked off, no decision, no ruling. They just said, right, you can't go down this road no more.
Yeah, that's a lot.
They did it
A lot of Hackney one-way systems of the 20. Well, even I think in most of central London, most of inside London, it's 20-mile-per-hour limit as well.
Yeah.
So you can't go. I think maybe at night you might be able to go higher. I don't know. Cause
no, you can't.
You can't. Okay.
20 miles per hour.
Yeah, 20 miles per hour.
These okay.
Something else I was gonna say.
Yeah, so this is all being done by design ultimately for, you know, an agenda to basically
was I thinking? There was something else. About, you got no. Second Ezra 15 and 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city, and shall not be able. Yeah, essentially, as these things ramp up and escalate, then you have what? Everyone sharded off, disconnected off into different districts. Because by and large, it's like, even brother mentioned, most people don't, well, in America especially, people barely leave their city. And they said like majority of people don't leave their town, let alone like the city. But it's like a lot of places in London, they make it where it is those 15-minute cities, everything's kind of within range. You're going to be like, okay, if I'm going to go for X, Y, Z, all I need to do is only go so far. I can walk, I can bike, or whatever. But then what, to get outside of London, then it's you know, that's a myth. Because why? It's as far as, and the thing is this how people want it as well. People are amicable to it. They just want cheaper rent. But it says, well, for because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and the men shall be afraid. And yeah, that's with these events going down. The thing is, once you get a crisis, once you get because what was it that happened? Who went on strike that the military had to come in? Was it TFL? TFL was it was over here. Someone went on strike, and then the territorial army had to come in and replace it. Was it police? I don't think police had on strike. But it's anytime there's something slack or there's a crisis within some aspect of society, the military will come in to fill the gap. That's the thing, is that can be normalized even further, to where it then becomes like, okay, we're going to have the military manage a certain kind of, people going in and out of the city. That's something that easily fall into the hands of the military. And these are things that it's not far-fetched. Again, during C-19, you have the military coming down doing the testing stations as well. During what was it, 2012 Olympics, them guys were down there. Them man had missile systems on people's houses as a form of security. And that again, well, even with that, because of the conflict, now there's a heightened what's it called? The warning system thing they have is up red. I can't remember what it's called, but it's basically the risk of an attack. When it goes higher, then it's well, essentially it's saying like an attack's imminent. That's the same statement as now, which is where it was a few years back, like during the time of like Manchester attacks and whatnot. But hey, these things are happening. Well, it's being heightened now, especially because of what's going on between Palestine and the state of Israel. So you can very easily see a few of these things collide, and then it's going to be very difficult to get in and around them. It says what? Because of their pride, the sea shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, the men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. Even the lack of bread. Famine's something that can come easily. The thing with the UK is it ships in a huge amount of different parts of food. And then even places where people go to get food, that's still shipped in as well. Any of these supermarkets, they're going to be getting shipped in. Even like local markets, fishmongers and whatnot. There might be a few where they'll go out and do it locally. But a lot of shit gets shipped in,
I believe it's like around 69%, 68% of things are brought in, including medication.
oh
We
yeah.
had a lot of this stuff. Basically, right now, I believe they're still actually negotiating the terms upon importation of import from the EU. Basically, we've had like a great tax basically being put on food and a restriction like the flow of things being brought into the country. So there's only a few things like there's eggs in the UK. There's certain things that are farmed over there, eggs, chicken. Right, you have local farmers, poultry, different forms of meat and things of that nature. But as far as we're talking bread and certain other, bread factories over here. But as far as like certain things in terms of fruit, veg, right, other like supplies of food, they're actually important, right? And that shows you how volatile this system is, right? All it takes is one key event to basically unfold to compromise the system as it stands right now, right? And that just shows you how sensitive the world we live in is, right? Because long gone are the days of maybe going without a meal because you didn't, missed out on something. You had a failed crop, missed out on other. Now you're almost like surefire in your mind. I'm going to the store and I know I'm gonna get this. And if it ain't there, I can move to the other store, they're going to have it. Or I might have
food explodes, I might Uber Eats something. If Uber Eats ain't working out, or Just Eat.
Yeah.
If like this, no one's thinking, okay, well I'm just gonna. There's people that'll have tins full of food or a cupboard full of food, and then they'll just be like, nah. But it's when it goes into a time, again, any form of restriction, even on a basic level, because that happened during
pandemic.
yeah, with pasta. Pasta was just, bro, things were disintegrating on the shelf. You go into Tesco, there was a queue. First there was a queue to get into Tesco before you could even get in there. Then you get in there, all the shelves are empty. There's like 2 tins of something left, 2 tins of tuna left, and you're there like, shit. You and the lady at the other end are fucking sprinting towards it, so you can make sure you get it. And that's the thing is, like the brother said, there was a period of time where that was not even wouldn't even really be a surprise to be like, okay, maybe we're gonna have to kind of make do. But now is a time where there's been so much abundance, and I'm saying again, it's like this country, this place, just same with America. There's a huge amount of abundance for over here from overseas, to where it's like there's really a supreme lack of wants. Anything someone wants, they can just think, oh, okay, we're going to get it. So for them to be going without a meal, that's going to be fuck them up. People eat so well, there's an obesity problem. That's how well people are doing. Even more so in America. America, there's people that can't even leave their house, man. You got more?
On that. Well, I was going to go delve into speak about famine, but what will happen on begin with that event that unfolded basically shows you that hey, the famine of hearing this word is very close, right? You gotta look at it as like this destruction has been, metaphorically, it's been spoke to in metaphorical sense in a word, but this destruction is likened unto a woman giving birth, right? The process of giving birth isn't like a clean, sweet thing of where, okay, the woman gets pregnant, doctor said the baby's gonna come on this day, just go sit on the bed, and the baby just falls out. And it's like, fuck, no, it's tumultuous, right? It ebbs and flows. There may be complications during pregnancy, right? Even during one of your scans, you might find out the umbilical cord is wrapped around the baby's neck. We're gonna have to perform a C-section to take the baby out to save, his or her life, his or her life, right? But then also you can have it continue. It can be basically also it can happen in a sense where what? It can happen in a sense where more usual fashion, you go through the process, you get to around 9th month or a month, like a day or two shy or whatever time, all right, and then the baby's meant to be born. Then one day you're sleeping or you're just going about your daily routine, then you feel your water break, or a woman feels a water break, and then she's like, oh, I've got to run to the hospital. Then guess what? There, nothing happens. They send you back home, right? But then usually when water finally breaks, you'll go through the process of being in labor. Now you would have the birth pains, right? Basically, the baby feeling like it's coming. But what are they going to tell you to push, all right? So this is the same thing with this instruction. And that's why when you see these things, you got to look at them as birth pains, right? Like, oh shit, I know that's a prophecy that's going to open my shit at this set time. So knowing that, if this something like this happens right now, what am I meant to think in my mind? Oh, this is probably the spirit showing me that this is gonna happen. They're gearing up. The spirit through the spirit is gearing up to happen something. Right? And only that was shown in the movie Leave the World. I'll go back there again. We had Mahershala Ali's character, George. Wait, something like that. But yeah, his character, he knew what was going on. He knew he had the insight. He was an insider, all right. But guess what? He was saying to himself, "Nah, I don't want to believe it." So he kept on going throughout the course of the movie, saying like, "Nah, it's probably not that." But then when it finally hit him, when he sees his neighbor that renovated his whole yard, and obviously think about it. He said it in the movie, he said, he came up with a lot of the ideas. So what was he really saying? He said, my man patterned it. So what was he really saying? He was saying, my man was patterning him up. He basically, he said like, listen, I can do that for you. You know what you want to do. Let me do this, make it like this, I'll do this little feature here. And he'd be like, wow, thanks a lot, man. I never thought about it. And I'll do it for him. It cost the same amount. So he thought that they were proper friends, because you could see in the movie, when he flipped and said, yo, get off my porch, he's thinking, yo, I'm your friend, man. And that's when the penny dropped, when he was sitting in the car, he said, listen, yo, it's about to get on top now. I need to know that you're riding with me. And he broke down the process throughout, he basically broke down everything that happened throughout the movie, that he knew it, and that was when the penny dropped. That, oh shit, they really just executed everything. They just did it all. So now I know it. He knows what time it is. He knows that, listen, we're gonna have to arm ourselves and build an armament around ourselves as well. Alright? Whereby no one can come and fuck with what we got. And we gotta have one mind that we know we're all fighting for each other. Alright? We've got each other's back. So that really shows you in that movie, alright, that these things basically openly, he is the character that openly, we are. We're looking at it like, no, we can see these things. We know what's going on. But we're not going to be as law willing. We're not going to be as slack in regard to reacting to seeing these things. And that's why we tell them to you. This is why we update you and let these things we know, we show you, look, that happened there. This is telling them this. So you got, and that's why I even, I'll do my updates. Because really, I'm just updating you on one prophecy. I'm not, brothers ain't going into, all right, this is that prophecy. No, this is the prophecy that's going to come to play. But we're showing you the process and how far along that prophecy is. So only keep your eye on it, man. Keep watching. Because at one point, it's going to get to a point where it's not watching time, it's time to move. You got to get up and move.
Same with, the brother mentioned it before, the curses in Egypt. The plagues to hit them. It was a process. Whilst it was after 102, people might have been thinking like, oh, well, you know, we don't need to, man has a thingy foot in his phone. That must be an actual fucking, but with Egypt, they might have been like 1 or 2 where people would have just been like, nah, even towards the end, they might have still just been like, nah, we don't need to let these Israelites go. Because why? It was still in the process. And that's really how, and that's the reality of how things occur is it is a process. It's not just, well, some things can happen where it all just happens at once. But then like with most things, it's been a very gradual process where it's shifted. I think the biggest like modern kind of mindset shift before the pandemic was after 9/11. After 9/11, you had culture change. You had that's where you started to get the surveillance state. And it's funny because that was a thing being mentioned, being spoken about before. You had enemy of the state. Enemy of the state with Will Smith. That whole film was about that concept of, oh, you know, how much surveillance do they have? Then that was something that became a norm after what the Patriot Act. It was the same thing with what's it called, Captain America, the Winter Soldier. It was about Shield basically being able to get their helicarriers in the sky to where they could then just do a global strike on anyone that's targeted. It's like, oh no, okay, that's an enemy, we take them out. These things like tracking and the technology, all those things developed far more after 9/11. And it's the same with like post, 2020. Since the pandemic, there's been a shift. But then most things happen gradually. Because you go from the world in the start of the 2000s to the end of the 2000s, the start of the 2010s to the end of the 2010s, then even the start of 2020 to now. If you were to drop in at, January 2020, there's still a bunch of things that seem normal then that now don't even get done. Even like cinema. People ain't really going to the cinema like that. The most was Barbie and Oppenheimer last year. Everyone made a big fuss because people actually went to the cinema to see those. But then for a lot of other movies, people don't go. But then you go back years before, like in the 2010s, there was countless films making the same amount of money.
Well, that was one of the things I did. Like, we used to do a lot. I don't know, you used to roll with us. Nah, it was me, Amanda, and
oh, and yeah, you used to go.
Orange Wednesday, it was £4. It was like £8 for like a three some drinks. We used to go there. That's why I think we used to come up there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's far, but it's far. Yeah, so like we used to do that, and then up until recently, that's why any movie come out, I'd be like, right, I could show you my phone. Just like inspired QR codes, where I used to go up to the pictures, and be like, I'm bored, like, let me go watch a movie. Now like a passport for something. But since the pandemic, it's more or less like, I ain't doing it. Even right now, I'm making it as to where I have to make a certain effort to go out. Because it's actually like, it's ridiculous now. Because I can see the quality of life between prior to and after is night and day. It's a huge shift. Yeah.
Like most people, that's even, Netflix was making a fucking killing over, as soon as the pandemic kicked in.
I only got Netflix because of that.
Yeah. There's hella people, it's like they saturated over that because no one had anything to do. All those, it's like Uber Eats, Deliveroo, all those different things, they blew up because people were stuck at home.
Yeah, even like that, I would prefer to walk to go and get my food. I'm like, what am I paying this guy to buy this food? Just to pay him extra £5 to get my food. We go for a walk and just get my food myself. But now, I've been converted, man. I'm like, I might as well just, chill out the money and just sit down and relax. But I can see that, you know, everyone is, you know, by even like contactless payment, right, whereby we, you know, tap and pay.
Yeah, they really got that through.
Yeah, I proper abstained from that. I said, nope, I'm gonna get cash. Even when I got paid, I go in my bank account. I said, yep, give me your X amount of money. I hold on to it, and then throughout the course of the month, I'll just give you that money, you know, according to my budget. That's what I go by. But now they got me, man. Man's going to spend all kind of money. But that's by design, all right? So, what they're really bringing about right now is the family of hearing the word. And that's going to be a key, you know, a show that's going to be very telling in terms of where we stand in terms of this prophecy in the end times, right? So Amos 8 and 11, behold, the days come, says the Lord power, that I will send a famine in the land, nor a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord Yahweh. Right? So there's going to be a time where there'll be a famine of hearing, right, the bread of life, right, which is basically going to allow you to be saved. It's going to be a famine of that. Just like the manna came down from heaven, right? You know, if you ain't, if the Lord ain't dealing with you, you're basically going to starve from hearing it, man. Right? But that's going to be very telling, because what does it tell you? It tells you that, you know, in the book of Romans, that the word went out to the ends of the earth. I mean, sorry, I'm jumping, I'm mixing conflating two scriptures. But in the book of Romans, it says, how would they know? At least they be taught. Right? So basically, the Heavenly Father appointed the prophets to go out and prophesy and speak to the people. But in that time that we're speaking about is when the prophets of the Heavenly Father are basically going to be taken away from the people, right? Like right now, we're on the main road, right? Anyone, we're here, Lord, through spirit and power, how God, Hashem, we're out here week on week, right? Through His power and His grace and His mercy. Anyone can come up, right? They can ambush us, wait, they can see, you know, sort us out and do whatever harm they please, or even in a righteous sense, they can come out and basically learn the word. They can inquire, ask questions, and maybe if the spirit is willing, I know the spirit ain't open right now, but if the spirit wills, you can even become a member of the I was going to say the mighty greatness of Great Millstone. You can become a member, you know, you can, and only possibly a member of the elect, right? That's what is being presented before you. But only the time we're speaking of is where we ain't gonna be, you ain't gonna be able to find us. You ain't gonna be able to locate us, you know, and say, okay, yo, those men are over there. We can go to them. They're gonna, that time when that's gonna, and the funny thing is, it's happened already, because I had friends of mine, and I was thinking about it yesterday. I put it down to the analogy of the frog in the boiling water. Alright, now when the pandemic happened, what happened? Everyone was over me like the frog being cast into boiling hot water and hopping straight out of it. Alright? Because they basically was like, what the fuck? Nah, this ain't right.
Holidays planned, the whole life.
Well, but it was more, it was more the starkness of it happening through people, like certain people were a bit like, what the fuck is going on? Like, and they weren't with it. Alright? Because I had like certain people that knew what I was on. Yeah, they were like, bro, yeah, like, fuck, yeah. And I had people calling me later. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, like, I had people calling me like, yo, come play. Because I was gonna start playing basketball again. Well, I'm still gonna play anyway, God willing. But I was gonna play a specific run with some people I used to play with before. So I was kind of putting it off. I wasn't putting it off. I was just my routine. It's hard to get out of my routine. So I was trying to find a way to, okay, I know once I go to one session, kind of break the process. But I was in a loop with my routine I was in before. So it wasn't a thing where I was dodging it. It was just like spirit just had it. I was locked into what I was doing before, and I was yet to jump to move into that kind of routine. They were telling me, yo, come back. So ultimately, I wind up linking up with them for another means. But they kind of, as the pandemic continued, they kind of, it's like, okay, the frog popped up. Okay, let's put the water temperature down,
Hold down to the cold
yeah,
water,
and then just put, and slowly turn it up. So when I'm saying certain things, they're like, nah, man, I ain't hearing that. What about this? They start scoffing. So now, where if I mention anything in that nature again, or in line with that, guess what? They're just gonna scoff, like they did before. So only now, what's gonna happen? This is everything quite, heating up to the point where these people are gonna be dead in the water, right? That's what's happening right now.
Because the thing I remember as well, so people were skeptical at the start, and then like 6-9 months later, and really it was just because their mind was kind of just done because of the lifestyle you had to maintain. Your ass was stuck indoors, you couldn't do shit. So people wanted to go out and do shit, which is why when the jump shop came, remember that normally it takes like 18 months. Man, like, how the fuck are they going to start in 6 months? Blah, blah, blah. Then people are like, I don't give a fuck. I just want to be able to go on holiday, X, Y, Z.
And that was the open though. Now, before I come out, I'm watching Russell Brand video where they're basically apologizing. The government now, news, was basically saying, look, they conducted a test over 8 countries with 100,000 or 100,000 sold individuals. It's like a scooter, really. I was talking about
He was in the road.
I know.
Before, so
Like he put the wheels underneath the board. But anyway, what happened was, what was I saying?
my thingy, the jump shop.
Oh, they're basically saying like they conducted a test over a number of years, and they said 100,000 odd people from 8 different countries are showing adverse conditions to that vaccine, right? Basically, it fucked them up. Them people have been, their health ain't the same. A lot of them are saying that they got heart issues, got issues within their body, different, degrees of age, different times.
That's
But it really showed you that they got, and it was the main vaccinations as well, right? All the ones they spoke of. So it shows you they hooked with you. They got one. You were too dumb to think smart enough, man. They fucking got you, man.
They basically, it was, yeah. Because the thing with it is, it was a pressure, but it was really, the thing is, well, it wasn't even like, it wasn't really a pressure. It was just, yeah. Because there was some where it was like, you lose your job, where it's like,
But you can get another job.
Exactly.
That's what a lot of people don't realize.
It wasn't like you can't work.
It was just you can find another job. A lot of people get comfortable in their job and don't realize that, bro, you could leave your job and get a better job.
Yeah.
I remember there was one guy, he basically said, yeah, that's what I was going to say. There was a guy that said within 2 years, he basically became the CEO. And he was basically making about 2 million a month. Time ridiculous. A couple million. That was his salary. But it's because he relentlessly looked for a job wherever he went. And he was an opportunist in that sense. He always moved, he always progressed. Now even right now, where I'm working, there's a brother I work with, a younger guy, he's like 24.
Yeah.
And he basically is telling him like, yeah, you can get a job. Now a man's looking at jobs that are like, 5 to 10,000 more than what man are earning right now. And that's just because he took a chance. And said, let me see if I can get more money. And that's the thing a lot of people don't realize. Even like 20 grand more than 30 grand, double your money.
So that's why it's here. Because ultimately, the pressure that's being applied is really on a base level. Because you're still being able to eat, still work, still, you have electricity work to your partner. But then it was a matter of what they had a certain lifestyle, so they wanted to get back. So they thought y'all gonna have to do this. And it's funny because it's like
They would have just took a deep breath, stepped back and said, okay, what if I don't take it, what would I have to do?
I was like, so if it comes to having to get a new job, then it comes to having to move. That's the thing. But a lot of people are just kind of like, oh, And the thing is they push
And they don't
hard.
plan with world thought. Like a lot of people live for today. They don't live, and I don't mean it to be like you are. The word tells us to live for today. See, you know, it's what it says to live. I forget the scripture. No. That's the prayer. Like trouble today is enough. Guys, what you don't want to talk about. But ultimately, the point being is that a lot of people don't have no savings. They don't have a means as to like a contingency plan, whereby if you was to lose your job or you was to be ill or something like this, how would you take care of yourself in that issue? What kind of process would you have in play? All right, they don't have that. So that's how Esau gets them. Gets them off guard. All right.
That's going to be the same thing when it comes to the micro C here. Because as far as with that, it's essentially a dry run. And you can see, it reveals the mentality of the people. Because for the people that didn't get, I was like, the thing is there's people talking about it, and it's just plain. If you discuss it, reason about it, it's like, yo, this is like for, especially if you're anyone, if you have no health problems, if you have no health problems and you're young, there's really no reason to get it. Like there was, I'm like, bro, it's like there's people that caught it like 2-3 times. Then it was like it was a cold. So it's just then like, okay, you like, why are you getting that?
There's something known as, I don't know if you people know, there's something called an immune system. That basically, if you get ill, your white blood cells become stronger, and they have the antibodies to fight against the illness the next time it comes around. So if you didn't know that, now you know it. So if there's a disease outbreak to a certain degree, or a new cold or flu, you have enough power within yourself to resist it. Right? But a lot of people don't.
Unless you got a severe illness,
Yeah.
then you
But then even with that being said, there's ways to, usually when you have a severe illness, you're lacking in something, right? You may need that you need to work out. You may need that you have deficiency in magnesium, iron, vitamin D, vitamin D, wherever it is. And then you have to, construct a diet whereby you get, you supplement, you supplement where you're lacking, all right? But a lot of people are not that smart. All right. So if you wasn't, now you should be, because it's been sent to you. But let me read this. This is the book of Matthew 24:14. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations. Right. So what we're doing right now is part of that witness to all nations. The book of Isaiah 34 tells you that you should be a prophet to the nations. So to the heathen as well as, but ultimately to the children of Israel. We're here to make it be known that Esau, the so-called white man's the devil, alright? And that so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans are the children of the Heavenly Father, okay? And that the Heavenly Father, right now we have 3 key prophecies that are unfolding, like as we speak, right? That of, ultimately first it has to be that of World War III, which presently we're seeing being held back, as spoken in the book of Revelation 7, alright? You see these angels are basically, that destruction it's budget, they're tugging at it, like, they're really like, oh shit, I'm gonna have to shut that down a bit more. But also as it gets closer, they're relinquishing their grip a little bit to make it come to pass, because the elect, are being sealed. Then you're gonna have the Lord make his return, right, in the midst of World War III, right, the thermonuclear destruction where America will be used. Oh, how could I forget the micro C here? That's the main thing. Then the World War III.
That's a big one we're seeing
Right now with
pushed heavily.
Yeah, with Elon.
The thing is, it's like there've been the other companies doing it, but then like they barely got any coverage. And then as soon as Elon was doing it, you start seeing people making memes. You start seeing it being spoken about way more in the mainstream. So that's really the one that everyone's kind of got their eyes on, because they might push out other ones to a different extent, but then that's really the one. Because the same with like the VR thing, Apple Vision.
Oh yeah, right.
That really pushed it. That really pushed it to a different. Because I was seeing that, I was getting like suggestions and like reviews of it. I'm watching it, and I was like, you know, they're really trying to appeal to that. Because you had things like before where it was like Google Glass, but then that wasn't even like that was like 10 plus years ago. That was forever ago. No one even remembers. People still might have that. That's not really on a scale. But then Apple is like an augmented reality thing where it's like, you know, dropping windows, you know, interacting with it in real life. Those things are draws. Those are appeal. Those things have people appeal to people and get them caught up and thinking, oh, we're in the future. They start thinking they're in
The Hollywood
what you call it,
movies.
the Hollywood movie, the cyberpunk future, Altered Carbon, these different TV shows where it's setting that
Transhumanism.
yeah. They think, like, oh,
Biohacking.
we're gonna, you know, stab in your viruses or lots of them just like, because they just like, oh, this is the prototype, and then we're gonna get, you know,
Yeah. So they're basically buying into it, but the lie that they don't realize that this man hasn't got as much power as he's selling you, right? He's hoodwinked you. He's gonna get the one up. Because really, this Esau Edom, the so-called white man, was created for the means of one desire of the Heavenly Father, to deceive the masses of the people. Right? It tells you in the book of Revelation that the devil shall be loosed after a 1,000-year period. Guess what? We're in that period where the devil's been loose. Right? Satan has been loose on the people and he's deceiving them greatly. Right? Now, the thing about deception is, you know, to be deceived, you know, you have to be, like, the truth has to be compromised in a certain fashion.
so it's a bastardization of the truth.
Basically, yeah. So it's like there may be, you know, 99.9% isn't truth. That's a lie, right? You could have that much of truth in it, but that little smidgen that's missing makes it what, a lie, right? This is what Esau does. Esau Edom, the so-called white man, that's what he does. Basically presents science in a fashion where it's like, okay, I have only so much truth that I can give you, but as long as I give you so much truth, you'll believe it. And then you, in believing it, guess what will happen? You miss out on that smidgen of a lie. That'll be the greatest lie that will wind up bringing your death and destruction upon you. Right?
Yeah. As long as it's a lie, it's a lie. You're not, you know. There's no benefit to it. Habakkuk 2:2 says, and the Lord Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. Yeah, like you said, the vision is for an appointed time. And then when it comes, it won't tarry. And that's the thing, is since we've seen these things coming to pass, like I said, as far as with implantable micro CNETs, you go back, it's not really been that commonly spoken of. It's only been on a minor scale previously. But then what, 2018, from when you had that big presentation of Neuralink, then from then on, it's pushed way quicker. And now it's in the mainstream. Now people are, oh, you know, what's the future looking like? How's this going to be implemented? Because now they're saying it's being used for people that can't use their arms, can't move, to be able to interact with computers and whatnot. But then afterwards, then what? They're thinking like, oh, you're going to be able to download your consciousness, that you're going to be able to have a supercomputer in your brain, that you're going to be able to download an AI, you know, chat GPT.
Or like the Matrix, download programs into your mind, and
Yeah,
now you know
I
Kung
know
Fu.
Kung Fu.
Yeah. Show me.
You know.
That's what they want. I know you can download how to fly a helicopter, right? And then you go for a process, a few hours, you download it, configures it, then you have the beta run, then afterwards, yeah, we got you.
Yeah. And that's the thing is if you're telling people, oh, you can download martial arts into your brain, you know, people that's the thing is that's Hollywood. They're caught up in it. They're thinking like, oh, you're gonna have like in your retina, you're gonna be able to zoom in and see like in the distance and oh, I can see what's going on over there. Or you're gonna be able to have, you know, like the $1 million man. You get a cybernetic arm, and you're lifting cars. These are the things that have people drawn in. And the thing is for the elite, they're trying to go beyond human. But then, as far as for how is it going to be implemented in the masses, that's well, it's like all cargo. Where they'll basically what is it will make them slaves, man. Make them indentured servants. Them guys were essentially put on a lower social status because why? They're caught into the system, but then they're not able to take advantage of all the positives of it. And that's really how these things. The thing is, it's like that with all these systems now. Think about like debt. Debt is something that when you're past a certain level of wealth, you're able to then start getting access to huge amounts of interest-free debt. You can get loans, you can get government programs. They'll be like they'll give you the means to get a leg up, so you can start your business like fucking head and shoulders above someone starting on the bottom level. Someone starting on the bottom level, they're thinking like, oh, I'm gonna have to pay for X, Y, Z. I'm gonna have to get a loan and fund this much. I'm gonna have to get a loan to put this much towards wages and whatnot. I'm gonna have to get a loan to try and do this. I'm gonna have to try and get all these details together so I can try and get like some crumbs from this government program. But then you have people on the elite level. They'll be like, what? They'll be given like the banks will come to them. Oh, you've got 4 successful businesses. Oh, great. Okay, keep doing your service with us. We'll give you the first year interest free. You can make this, you know. We'll only start charging interest after you're earning this much. They'll give you sweeter deals. That's how it's going to be within that new system. The elites will have to utilize it on a level where they'll have access to these means. But then what you use for those on the bottom is what? If you even want to be able to pipe, yeah. The American dream, the aspirational American dream. Because that's a big part of how huge amounts of this society now functions. For things to essentially run, people need to have the dream aspiration of, oh, I want to try and get a piece of X.
Image of the beast. Whereby, you know, they've been sold on a dream, like puppy hair, and even right, like, you know, obviously, you know, aside from being in the faith, America is definitely a place where there's a great level of abundance. And when you see, when I personally see, like, peers of people, like, even if one guy, like, when I was in the world, you know, you kind of just finding your way of doing anything and everything. I was doing like acting auditions. There was a girl that I knew from working on workplace. Me and her graduate went to an audition. And this guy wound up he's in one of the movies, Black Mirror. He's a soldier that was, you know, the one where he had his eyes sent to the yard. Yeah, Malachi Kirby. But yeah, I went in an audition with this girl's graduate. So she's a girl brought home with that was getting battered by Arthur Jones. Okay? You weren't there when she come home and she's like, what's this she telling me about this girl with red hair? Oh. What's this your mom telling me about this girl with red hair? And I started laughing because this girl had a fire red weave and I brought her home to my house. And the banner was running for time. That's why our family's like, we joke. Your brothers know. Man just joke for no reason. So anyway, yeah, I know him from that. So with knowing him from doing that, why did I mention that? Why did I mention that?
Oh, no, that's what you began.
Yeah.
What else is about this? OB system. trying to get
Oh
something
yeah,
out of it.
trying to strive, yeah. Like I know, I look at America and I see like someone like him, and there's other people as well. They go over there. Even I got other friends I know. Went over there to play basketball and I got them done a job over there. Not a job, not like a criminal job. But I mean like they went out to work. And they made something for themselves. Especially over here. Like the way we're educated over in the UK in comparison to America, we can definitely, leverage that a lot. And kind of, and even the accent.
UK's taking over Hollywood. Man.
Yeah. I'm not even talking about Hollywood specifically, I'm just talking in general. Because basically, like they kind of look at us with a certain kind of light because of the British education and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, you can leverage certain things, you can go certain places, you've got relatives over there, we've got relatives over there that could have brought us in to do other things. But the point being is that, that's how desirable America looks, even me knowing that because of all of the wealth and abundance over there. But ultimately, what was you reading?
Habakkuk 2:4.
But ultimately we know that that's short-lived. All right, it's a deception. So let me read this. Carry on reading what the brother was reading. This Habakkuk 2:4. Behold, his soul is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Right. So the soul speaking that of Esau Edom, the so-called white man. Right, he was, when you go into his inception, well, it would really be going back to the time of the garden with the serpent and Adam. But the key point I want to speak of as far as right now would be Esau, Jacob and Esau. Right, the invention of Esau was to basically counteract Jacob, right, basically to be the devil upon the earth, right? So I read this again. So it says, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him. So this man isn't made to be righteous, right? He's made to be the devil. But the thing about the devil is he's very deceptive and cunning in his ways. So his whole thing is to make you look at the good guy as a bad guy, but the bad guy as a good guy. So that's why even now, Jake, basically, a lot of our people have been compromised, but if you're really a straight walking so-called black man, all right, or so-called Negro, Hispanic, Native American, the world has been turned to make you look like the criminal in any of these engagements. So if there's anything that's bad happening, anything amiss, the first people are going to point out is these people on the side. They're going to say, you probably did it. I remember I had one woman where I used to live before, someone was smoking weed, she thought I smoked weed. I was thinking, you fucking bitch. She's trying. I don't even fucking smoke no weed. And that's like the most.
thing that annoys me about most is how many Jake do smoke weed.
But that's
The other side of that is everyone
fucking smokes weed. That's the joke. Because I'll be talking to people and then I feel like, oh, you smoke weed. I'm like, they think I don't smoke no weed. Like, I'm very, I barely drink. Not to say that, I'm just saying that I'm not one of those kind of people.
But then it's like, we're
We get stigmatized
Yeah.
with that because of the way they look at us. Like they say, like, oh, yeah, you guys like, they'll hold their back, touch it. Bitch, I don't want your fucking back. And you look at some people like, you're dusty. Like, why would I even want to rob you? Why would I need something from you? Yo, you look more dusty than me, man. Like, you look like you don't take care of yourself. So it's like, sometimes that's what it is though, right? Because this man has turned everything on his head. So it says, but the just shall live by his faith. All right, that's a faithful show. That's a faithful that is a righteous saying, right? Because everything we walk by is by faith, right? It might be in the most legendary fucking, like, fuck up of a situation. But guess what? We're going to stand in the midst of it all and just say, boy, the Heavenly Father's going to do something and it's just going to work out.
And it's worked out as well.
And that's what it always does.
That's why it's like, the thing is as well, it's a faith builder. And as far as like brother saying something's worked out, like brothers have been in prison cells, and it's worked out. So it's like prison cells to when the prison cells for just you doing whatever. Like. But But then that's why what? Hey, these things work out. Then it's like,
even
as
for
a-
whatever, even if you
Well,
slip
even-
up and
yeah.
fuck up, or someone fucks up on you, or whatever happens.
Yeah. But it's like, as the law just kind of, covers these things, that's when it's going forward. The next thing happens, you're like, well, it is what it is. I'll just leave it to you. How about show me how I'm showing? Like, you ain't sitting there thinking like, no, what's gonna roll up? You have it where you're just in your faith in how about show me how I'm showing. I'll show my production. Like, yo, we'll take care of it. And there'll be times where it might seem like you're getting fucked over, but then in the long run, it could be to your benefit. There's a lot of things where it happens like that. That's just the process of growing anyway. To where it's like, yo, you get, you get fucked over, you get hardships, and then those are to make you grow, man.
I'll finish this off. Yea, also, because he transgresses by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. With larger things as that, and this just sounds like the white man straight up. Hey, there's a video I see where there was a white guy basically talking about how, like, you have a he's talking about neo-colonialism. And it's basically talking about liberated leftists.
Colonialism.
Yeah, that's what he called it. So these liberal, leftists, they basically go to like Thailand and various countries. And they basically like have an epiphany, spiritual epiphany or something of that nature. And they're over there consume culture, but it's like they don't even engage with the people over there. It's like they become like a hub into them. So they basically suck all the resources from the people over there. And they don't even get to enjoy the life. Aborigine from Australia, and she said like one thing that pissed me off is that the so-called the white man came over to our country, took all our resources, told us that we're not living right. Took all our resources, told us we don't live right, told us we gotta live in houses and do all this. Then now the fucking prick, he's living off the land. He's now like so-called, going back. Like,
You just realize,
like,
living in harmony with nature. That's what you call it, the Georgia Guidestones, man. Men say maintain humanity under 500 million in harmony of nature. I was like, bro, it's like, man, we're done been living in harmony with nature. You're the one that's out of harmony with nature, yeah? It's like you said, your spirit's not right. We dealing with a so-called white man. You can look at society. Where it's like paving roads. I'm like, bro, you could, like, when you're walking on dirt or grass or whatever moss, these things have a natural cushioning to them.
That's why you have people now being like, they grounding themselves by walking barefoot. But all of these things, like you go to these so-called savage nations around the world. Yeah, the savage lands. Basically, what you have, all these people, even the heathen, mainly the heathen I'm speaking to, us, we know these things. You didn't know it, man. Because guess what? You're grunting and shitting on yourself, pissing on yourself up in the fucking mountain, man. So you come out back to it and you're like, okay, we're going to do this. But it's like, bro, like, no, that's not how it works. And now you've realized, through injury and, all these things that happen to you. Oh no, that's a good idea. But you fucked up everything we had it going on before.
So that's the thing, it's like for various aspects. Now, everything's in Esau's image, man. As far as the so-called white man wants it, that's how things have been ordered. And then to now be like, you know what? Maybe we should go back to organic foods. I'm like, bro, the only reason there weren't organic foods is because you're like, yo, we can maximize the profit by not doing it. And now flipping it back is maximizing even more profit because you get to charge more. But that's and it's funny because so many aspects it comes down to money. This whole lifestyle push is what there's a bunch of people making money off it. It's like even with the like fitness. When you deal with fitness, like on YouTube or something, you might go and be like, okay, let me look up how to do a workout, how to do a diet, how to do these things. These guys are going to be selling courses. These guys are going to be selling supplements. These guys are going to be like, okay, get my pre-workout. These guys are going to be like, oh, get my shirts, get my dip. It's merchandise, and that's how Esau's structured his society. It's really about making merchandise, making money first before other aspects. And then even with going to these other cultures, afterwards you'll build, you'll go and you'll take out the entire culture, but they'll build a museum afterwards and appreciate it.
That shows you how much this man's is truly the devil, man.
Bro, that's legendary. You're like, yeah, look at Tutankhamun. It's like, bro, that nigga's, what are you doing over here? Why is he in London?
The nigga should be in a grave somewhere. That you should.
Niggas like this, like on display, like, what's going on?
Discombobulated.
I'm like, bro, let him,
There, like,
that
let him
nigga
live,
sleep,
man.
man. God damn. But yeah.
Close it out.
Done. Oh, you finished on thinking?
Yeah.
But yeah, another week. Like we said, throughout the course of the week, it's non-stop things happening, and that's how it looks like it's going to continue for the foreseeable future. Lord willing,
It's definitely gonna get worse, man.
yeah,
It's guaranteed. That's a given.
Lord willing, we'll be back next week.
Right.
I'll say praises to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushua, Hashem, Shalom. Shalom.